Behind every hit song, there's inspiration, but sometimes that inspiration sparks a courtroom war. From million-selling singles to timeless holiday anthems, even pop's biggest legends have been accused of borrowing a little too much. In the 1990s, 2000s, and even just last year, judges and juries have decided the fate of songs we thought we knew by heart. Was it theft, coincidence, or just the natural overlap of music's building blocks? These cases didn't just cost artists millions, they changed the way pop songs are written, produced, and even heard. Today on Pop Lore, we uncover the 10 pop music legends caught in copyright battles over songs, and reveal how each lawsuit rewrote the story of modern pop. By the late 1980s, Salt-N-Pepa had made history. With Push It, they became one of the first female hip-hop groups to break into the global pop charts, proving that women could hold their own in a male-dominated industry. But decades later, their fight wasn't on stage or in the studio, it was in court. In the 2020s, Salt-N-Pepa sued Universal Music Group, aiming to reclaim ownership of their master recordings, including classics like Push It and Shoot. Under U.S. copyright law, artists can attempt to terminate contracts after 35 years and regain their rights. Salt-N-Pepa's case became emblematic of a much bigger struggle. Who really owns the hits that shaped generations? Their fight coincided with broader debates about streaming platforms, record label power, and the balance between corporate control and artist independence. For fans, the dispute was a reminder that even iconic anthems, songs that feel like part of our cultural DNA, can hang in legal limbo.
My shoes for all the blessings I was chasing. If I ever slip, I fall into.
Few songs defined the 2020s like Dua Lipa's Levitating. A disco-inspired smash, it dominated airwaves, TikTok, and dance floors worldwide. But its success also made it a legal target. In 2022, songwriters Russell Brown and Sandy Linzer alleged that Levitating borrowed heavily from their tracks Wiggle and Giggle All Night, 1979, and Don Diablo, 1980. For 3 years, the case wound through the courts, raising the same questions that have dogged pop for decades. Where does inspiration end and infringement begin? In 2025, a judge dismissed the case, ruling that Dua's hit did not cross the line. The verdict was hailed as a win not just for Lipa, but for pop artists everywhere, since losing could have set a precedent that chilled songwriting. Yet, the ordeal underscored how every blockbuster hit is scrutinized under a microscope, especially when millions in royalties are on the line. When Miley Cyrus released Flowers in 2023, it instantly became one of her biggest hits, an anthem of empowerment and self-love that shattered streaming records. But in 2024, Tempo Music Investments sued, claiming Flowers had borrowed too closely from Bruno Mars' ballad, When I Was Your Man. The parallels were subtle. Both songs used themes of regret, love lost, and lyrical phrasing that some argued overlapped too closely. As of late 2024, the case remains active, with both sides lawyering up. What makes this dispute fascinating isn't just the star power involved, but the way modern hits are dissected in court. Algorithms, musicologists, and even AI analysis are now being used to measure similarity. Whether or not Miley prevails, the case highlights the precarious line every pop artist walks when crafting songs inspired by familiar emotions and melodies.
I just fell in love, and I just quit my job.
Beyoncé's Break My Soul became the anthem of resilience in the wake of the pandemic. But in 2023, she was pulled into a lawsuit that revealed just how complex sample culture has become. The track famously featured a vocal sample from Big Freedia's Explode, itself a bombastic, high-energy bounce record. But a New Orleans group called the Showstop has stepped forward, claiming Explode had already borrowed from their 2002 song, Release a Wiggle. The lawsuit argued that Beyoncé, by sampling Big Freedia, indirectly infringed on the Showstop's work. Her team pushed back, but the case raised tough questions about chain liability. If you sample a song, and that song sampled something else, how far back do the legal responsibilities go? In an era where sampling is the heartbeat of pop, hip-hop, and dance, Beyoncé's case shows just how tangled authorship can become. For nearly 3 decades, All I Want for Christmas Is You has reigned as the ultimate holiday anthem, earning Mariah Carey an estimated $70 million and the unofficial title of Queen of Christmas. But in 2022, Vince Vance and the Valiants sued, claiming Carey's 1994 mega-hit infringed on their 1989 track of the same title. The case dragged through the courts until March 2025, when a judge ruled decisively in Carey's favor. The songs, the court said, shared little beyond their titles, and titles alone aren't copyrightable. Mariah's crown remained intact, but the case highlighted the immense financial stakes behind holiday standards. For every year that All I Want for Christmas dominates December, royalties pile up, making it a tempting target for lawsuits. Carey's win reaffirmed that originality isn't just about avoiding duplication. It's about crafting something timeless enough to withstand both cultural and legal tests.
Till we're 70.
In 2014, Ed Sheeran released Thinking Out Loud, a soulful ballad that became a wedding staple and Grammy winner. But what should have been a career-defining triumph turned into a years-long legal storm. The estate of Ed Townsend, Marvin Gaye's co-writer, accused Sheeran of lifting elements from the classic Let's Get It On.
Could still fall less hard at 23. Take me into your loving arms.
At the heart of the case were chord progressions and groove, fundamental building blocks of countless songs. Sheeran fought back fiercely, even pulling out his guitar in court to demonstrate how those chords were part of the musical commons.
Be my heart could still fall less hard.
In 2023, the jury sided with Sheeran, ruling that he had not infringed. The verdict was celebrated by songwriters across the industry, who feared that a loss would open the floodgates to endless lawsuits over basic musical structures. The case underscored how fragile the line can be between homage and infringement, and how millions ride on that line. Katy Perry's trap pop anthem Dark Horse dominated the airwaves in 2013, but 5 years later, it became the center of one of the most dramatic courtroom sagas in recent pop memory. Christian rapper Flame, Marcus Gray, alleged that Perry and her collaborators had copied his 2008 track, Joyful Noise. In 2019, a jury stunned the industry by siding with Flame and awarding $2.78 million in damages. The verdict sent shockwaves. If upheld, it would have set a precedent that even vague similarities in mood or elements could bankrupt major pop stars. But in 2020, a federal judge overturned the ruling, finding insufficient evidence of copying. The reversal was hailed as a course correction, but the case remains a cautionary tale. Even the world's biggest hits can face existential threats from the courtroom.
My Lord, take long, my Lord. I really want to see you.
Few copyright battles loom as large in pop history as George Harrison's. His first post-Beatles solo hit, My Sweet Lord, was an international success in 1970. But soon after, Bright Tunes Music sued, claiming it was copied from the Chiffons' He's So Fine. In court, Harrison was found guilty of subconscious plagiarism, a landmark ruling that suggested artists could infringe without intent.
Take so long, my Lord, my sweet.
Harrison admitted he was aware of He's So Fine, but insisted the similarities were unconscious. The court ordered him to pay damages.
My sweet Lord.
The case haunted Harrison for years, influencing not only his career, but the way courts viewed musical creativity. It showed that even legends weren't immune from the subconscious pull of familiar melodies, and it reshaped copyright law for decades. The opening guitar riff of Stairway to Heaven is one of the most famous in rock history and one of the most contested. The band Spirit alleged that it was taken from their 1968 instrumental Taurus. The case dragged on for years, finally reaching U.S. appeals courts and even a Supreme Court petition.
And she's by there. Ooh, there's a lady dying.
In the end, Led Zeppelin prevailed. The courts ruled that the songs weren't substantially similar, reaffirming that common musical building blocks aren't owned by any one artist.
Earth is gold, and she's buying Stairway.
Yet the case left a cloud over one of rock's greatest anthems, forcing fans and critics alike to confront difficult questions. How much of music is invention, and how much is influence? For Zeppelin, victory preserved their legacy, but the trial underscored how fragile even the most iconic riffs can be under legal scrutiny.
That's why I'm gonna take you good girls. I know you want it. Go ahead, do it at me. Come on. What do they make dreams for when you got them jeans?
Few copyright cases have been as controversial or as consequential as the battle over blurred lines. In 2015, a jury ruled that the track infringed on Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up, not by directly copying notes or lyrics, but by capturing its feel. Thicke and Pharrell were ordered to pay more than $7 million in damages, later reduced, and Gaye's estate secured future royalties.
Try to domesticate you, but you're an animal. Baby, it's in your.
The decision stunned the music world. For decades, artists had borrowed grooves, vibes, and styles from their predecessors. But now, even inspiration itself seemed dangerous. Critics warned that the verdict blurred the line between influence and theft, chilling creativity in pop songwriting.
This bitch in this place. I feel so lucky. You wanna hug me?
Supporters hailed it as a win for protecting legacies. Either way, blurred lines changed the game. Every artist since has had to think twice about where homage ends and infringement begins. The journey doesn't end here, pop lovers. Watch this next.